ARITA for backing out of co-hosting a cookout after my contribution was taken for granted. I, 32F, had been planning a cookout with my best friend, 31F, for several weeks. We agreed on the guest list, budget, and responsibilities. Since the event was being held at her house, I agreed to cover about 85% of the food costs, while she provided the venue and handled hosting duties. For context, my best friend recently broke up with my guy best friend, 32M, whom I've known for over 10 years. I assumed he would be invited, which I had no issue with. The problem started after invitations went out. I suddenly received a separate invitation from him for the same event, but this one listed only him and my friend as the hosts. Several mutual friends were confused and started asking who was actually hosting because they had received different invitations. When I asked my friend about it, she told me she had given him permission to invite some of his friends. Then I learned he was making additional decisions, such as arranging for a DJ, without discussing any of it with me. This didn't sit well with me because I'm paying for the vast majority of the food. He recently lost his job and isn't contributing financially. His friends rarely bring anything to gatherings, and I've ended up covering costs for them before. He's hosted many parties over the years and has never invited me. I told my friend that I hadn't agreed to fund a larger event for people I didn't know. When I didn't get a response, I reached out to him directly and explained that it felt like the cookout had gone from something my friend and I planned together to something he had inserted himself into. I told him I was stepping down as a co-host and would provide the list of food and supplies I had planned to cover so he could take over those responsibilities if he wanted. He claimed he didn't know I was a co-host, which I found hard to believe because the original invitation clearly included my name, while the new one did not. Eventually, I told both of them that I would rather attend as a regular guest. When he argued that he should be able to invite his own friends, I told him he absolutely could. But I wasn't willing to continue funding an event that had changed significantly without my agreement. In the end, I decided not to attend at all. Now my friend is left trying to figure out the event without me, and I feel guilty about backing out. AITA?
For telling my BSF I'm not babysitting her kids so her man can watch a World Cup game at a bar? I, late 20s F, have a best friend, late 20s F, that I absolutely love. Every so often, I help babysit her kids. Sometimes she asks, and sometimes I offer because she's done a lot for me and I genuinely want to help. Recently, during the World Cup, she mentioned she might need childcare after work hours. We made a tentative plan because she wanted to get her nails done and her partner might be working. I had no issue helping because I know she's an overstimulated mom who rarely gets time to herself. The problem is that babysitting with them has always been a little frustrating. Usually, I don't find out until the last minute whether her partner is actually working. If he isn't, he often makes personal plans because he knows I'm coming over. On top of that, whenever I'm told they'll be home at a certain time, they almost always end up staying out longer than planned. There are usually texts about delays, extra stops, or changes of plans. I've brought it up lightly before, but never made a huge issue out of it. Today, I finally hit my limit. My friend was having car trouble in the morning, so I checked in around noon. She told me she was still keeping her nail appointment and needed to leave around 5:30 p.m. Since my workday was slow, I planned to head home, grab my dog, drive about 20 minutes to her house, and watch the Mexico versus South Korea game while babysitting. Because of how things usually go, I texted and called to see whether her partner had left for work yet. Traffic was getting bad, and I wanted to know what I was walking into. When I finally got a hold of her, she told me his construction job had been canceled for the day. Instead of working, he was planning to go to a nearby bar to watch the Mexico game. That's when I got upset. I told her I wasn't trying to be rude, but I wasn't going to babysit when there was already a parent available at home. I said I had agreed to help because he might be working and because she needed some time for herself, not so he could go drink and watch soccer. I told her, I'm here for you, not for him. I'm not a replacement dad. She immediately got short with me and said I didn't need to come anymore. Later, I called back to see if there was some compromise. Like if he'd already made plans with friends, maybe I could still help, but she clearly wasn't interested in discussing it. Eventually, she told me he would just stay home. Now I feel guilty because I know she's very sensitive about the whole it takes a village and family helps family mindset. At the same time, I worked 2 jobs and didn't feel like driving back and forth, just so a fully capable parent could avoid parenting for the evening and watch a game at a bar. I don't mind helping a stressed out mom. I do mind feeling like free childcare so someone else can treat me as a substitute parent. AITAH. AITA for telling my sister's boyfriend that her house is actually mine. My sister and I aren't very close. We stay civil, show up to family gatherings, and mostly stay out of each other's lives. A few months ago, she started dating a new guy and apparently told him she was a homeowner. I only found out when my mom casually mentioned that my sister had been telling him she owned my house. I figured she'd eventually tell him the truth. Then one night, she brought him over for dinner at my place. During the meal, he kept complimenting the house and talking as if she owned it. Whenever the conversation got too close to details about the property, she quickly changed the subject. After they left, I texted her and told her she needed to tell him the truth. She replied, "It's not that serious. I'll handle it." She didn't. 3 weeks later, she got engaged. That's when she admitted the problem had gotten much bigger. Her fiancé wanted them to move into her house. Except the house was mine. I told her she needed to come clean immediately. Instead, she asked if I could pretend to be renting the house from her until things settled down. In other words, she wanted me to act like a tenant in my own home, so she wouldn't have to admit she'd lied for months. I refused and hung up.